Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Today's video is on the Dragon Egg MKII from Direct Action. Now the people at Direct Action were kind enough to put a little package together for me and to send me the bag of the color of my choice. I chose this MKII here in the Shadow Gray. This is a very, very nice color, very interesting. It's a very deep, rich gray color. Almost has undertones of a green or a blue. I can't exactly tell, but it's definitely very, very neat. Now, if you've been watching my channel, you may have seen a prior video that I put out using the original Dragon Egg as an EDC backpack. I suggest you check it out to get a full list of all the features available on these bags. And if you have seen my video, you realize I'm a big fan of this bag. I like it very, very much. It's very high quality, has excellent features. It's become one of my favorite pieces of gear. I've carried it for quite a while now, over a year, and I just wanted to take some time to give you a comparison of this new MKII, compare it to the original, and see what kind of differences we'll find. Now here you see my original Dragon Egg right next to the MKII. At a first glance, you probably think these bags look literally identical. Well, I'll tell you what, they're pretty close. There are some differences in the features that I'm going to show you, but for the most part, they've kept it very much the same. It's the same size, same layout, same basic features. It's just some of the details that have changed. Let's get to it. Now, on the front of the original Dragon Egg, you will see the original logo. At this time on the MKII, we've had a little change in the branding. So the first thing is, you'll notice that their logo has changed. It's a very subtle detail, but at the same time, that's worth noting. And it's important for you to know because obviously for companies, branding is very important. And it's the identification to their products and to their company. And so if you're looking for the Direct Action brand and products, you should be looking for this logo. Now, apart from the logo, everything else on the front of the bag appears to be the same to me. There's the same number of cuts in the laser cut MOLLE, same size hook and loop field, same pockets, same grab handle. Basically, everything else on the front of the bag is exactly the same. In terms of the zippers and the zipper pulls, this is the original Dragon Egg. They are exactly the same on the MKII. So that feature has not changed. Now, I am a big fan of these zipper pulls. I really like them. They work very well. I like that they are actually like a paracord with almost a shrink tube over them that stiffens them up and gives you a real easy place to grab. The zippers are very nice. They run real smooth, durable, quality, and built to last. Now both these bags do have a paracord wrap handle. This is the original. This is the MKII. Now the one thing I can tell you, and this is without you really being able to tell on camera, I could get some measurements for you, but I'm just going to describe it. The weave on the original is just slightly tighter, and what that does is it makes it just a little bit stiffer, and then on the new version it's a little bit looser, which makes it a little bit wider and also a little more flexible. Now I don't know if that was intentional. I guess I would suspect where this is actually a person doing the weaving that no matter which bag you got, they would vary slightly. But that's just something that I noted, is that it is a slightly tighter weave on the original than on the newer version, meaning that this handle has a little bit more flex and give to it. And you can actually kind of see that a little bit, how this one's sitting real high and proud, and this one kind of sinks down a little bit. Either way, it doesn't really matter to me. It's both a pretty good feature either way you go. I mean, I'm sure there's really no ultimate difference in durability, strength, or anything other than that. So just something worth noting. Now, just like the original, the MKII also has the Dragon Egg words stitched into the side. Very simple little design, but it adds a little bit of character to the bag. Now on my review of the original Dragon Egg, one of the features that I liked was the attention to detail in putting the logo on their buckles. I thought that's a real nice way to put a finishing touch on a product, show that they're paying close attention to the details and taking it all the way through the buckles. And so on the Mark II, unfortunately they did not do that. Now I'll tell you, at this point, I'm going to be hypercritical of this bag because this is the Mark II. This is the chance for the company to take all the great features they had in the first one, keep them, but also make improvements and enhancements to come up with the complete package moving forward. And for them to take a step back, in my opinion, kind of loses a little bit of detail, and I think that's a shame. I wish we saw these buckles with the new logo etched on them. I think that would just be a nice finishing detail. It adds a level of just quality look, a little bit of, like I said, attention to detail, and just a nice little feature moving forward. So I think it's kind of a shame that they didn't put the new logo on these buckles. Wish they had. Now on my review of the original Dragon Egg, I did have an issue with these rattling buckles. That to me was just a sign that they're not super tight. I mean, they're still quality, don't get me wrong, but it's just kind of frustrating to have this amount of noise on these buckles. So naturally, I was hoping on this new version that would have been corrected. It's a little bit better, but not really. I can't really say this is any better. I feel like they're identically the same buckles, and both suffer from that same annoying rattle. Now the original Dragon Egg had these Wu Jin Duraflex buckles. You'll see inside the little WJ inside that channel. Now this is the buckle off the original Dragon Egg. Let's take a look at the Mark II. This is the buckle from the Mark II. It says inside Stealth Warrior, but when you turn it around to the back, you might not be able to read that, but it does say Wu Jin. So these are Wu Jin Duraflex buckles. It's a slightly different design, slightly different buckle shape, but at the same time, it is the same manufacturer. And if you now look at these side by side, the one on the right is the original, the one on the left is the Mark II. You'll notice it's just slightly different, similar size, somewhat similar shape, but at the same time, this Mark II does have this little additional double T design. And so I don't know if that's for added strength or what the purpose really is, but it's just a note that these buckles are slightly different. Now on the original Dragon Egg, I think one of the biggest complaints that people had, and one of the biggest problems that I had, was the design of the pockets on the side of the bag. These pockets had a zip-up side to them that basically allowed the pocket to sit flat when you weren't using it or expand when you needed it. And unfortunately, what that meant was that my water bottle that I used regularly wouldn't fit appropriately inside the pocket, and unfortunately, from time to time, would fall out and smash on the ground. And so that really, to me, was one of the biggest problems that this bag suffered from. So my question was, did Direct Action address that and change the pocket on this version of the Dragon Egg? And the answer is yes. Now, instead of relying on the zippered enclosure to hold the pocket flat when it's out of use, instead what they did was added some bungee straps on the side. These are an elasticized strap that allow this pocket to flex when it needs to accommodate all sorts of different bottle sizes and shapes. And the best part is when you don't need it, it pulls it back tight to the bag. So in my opinion, this is a vast improvement over the original. I'm hoping to see that it has plenty of durability and works appropriately, but in terms of at least making an attempt to upgrade it, I think this is a solid start. And just to verify that my water bottle does appropriately fit in this pocket, slips in with ease, fits nice and snug, doesn't look like it's going to come out anytime soon, and I think this is definitely nice and tight, very firm, and a well-fit pocket. So hopefully this canteen will have a little bit of a better life now, instead of smashing all over the ground. Now as I rotate the original Dragon Egg back around to the bottom of the pocket, you'll notice that the way that they had originally created it, basically any of the excess fabric was tucked up inside the pocket, and so that created a real pinch point where the fabric was tight, and I think that's why my water bottle was having such a hard time in popping out. You'll notice that there is no drainage in that pocket whatsoever. And if you look at it versus the new pocket on the Mark II, this entire piece right here is the bottom of that water bottle pouch. And so there's also a drainage grommet put in the bottom of it. So you can see already why this is going to be a better design and accommodate more water bottle shapes and sizes. It still lays flat when you don't need it. So I really think this was a great job, very nicely done, and a wonderful upgrade on this Mark II. Now moving on with the comparison, literally the entire rest of the bag from what I can tell is exactly the same. The front of the bag still exhibits the same fleece lined pouch. When you open that up to the next pocket, you have the same admin style layout that you did on the original. There's plenty of videos online that go into detail on this, and I'm not going to go into too much detail, but that just gives you a real quick look at the different features inside there. The large compartment is the exact same as the original, with the same mesh-lined pockets on the outer flap, and then a slip pocket on the inside for either a hydration bladder or a computer, and then also just your large main compartment. And the rear compartment is identical as well, exhibiting the sleeve for a laptop or a hydration bladder, some padding, and also a clip system for a hydration bladder. So no changes to any of the other features from what I can tell on the inside components of the bag. And last but not least, the shoulder straps are exactly the same. They exhibit all the same features, the same length and shape and padding and buckles and D-rings and all that, the same clips. The padding on the back of the bag, which was one of the greatest features about this, the high level of ventilation, is exactly the same on the new bag. I think the only subtle difference may be, and I can't tell exactly, I think it's just a matter of maybe the color, is that these ribs on the new one just looked slightly more pronounced, and I think it's just because of the color of the materials that you're seeing the ribs a little more clearly on the newer version, but I don't think really it's anything different than what the original was, and that, in my opinion, was one of the best features. And actually, now that I'm taking a little bit of a closer look, I do see why this was catching my attention. So if you look at the direction that these ribs are going in, they're pointed down towards that middle spine. So pointed down on the original. On the new one, they're pointed up. So I don't know if for some reason they felt as though by changing the direction of the ribs, they would get better ventilation out of the system, but I think that's why it was catching my attention, because the direction was different and I was seeing it a little bit differently. So it's just an odd little subtle nuance that I thought I would point out. Now another point I think is worth mentioning, but is not honestly really critical in my mind, is the fact that the original Dragon Egg came packaged with actually a decent little, I don't know, supplementary packaging bag. I mean, this thing could be used just to store some gear in. I use this actually to lightly place my down equipment, whether it's down jacket, I have down comforters, and I also have my down sleeping bag. This is a nice open sizable bag that allows you to put some stuff in it, and it was a nice little bonus that you got with the packaging for the original Dragon Egg. Now the new version does not come with it. Like I said, not a big deal. I'm sure they wanted to cut back on costs, and this was probably costing them enough that it wasn't really worth continuing to do it, but I just thought it was worth noting. Now if you take a look at the Direct Action website, this is the bag that I got. You'll notice that it comes in a variety of colors, and I picked Shadow Gray. Now, if you take a look at my prior video for the original Dragon Egg, you'll notice that I put some pockets on the outside of the laser cut molly on the front of the bag, and I really do enjoy that feature, and I like to use those pockets for a number of things. And because this bag is shadow gray, I don't really have any accessories in that color, so I hopped on the Direct Action website to take a look and see what they had available, and here's some comments that I have. So when I take a look through the available pouches, the first one I saw that caught my mind in terms of the shape and size and what I thought I would put in it would be this flashbang pouch. So when I took a look at this pouch and selected the gray, the first thing I noticed was it's considered to be urban gray and not the shadow gray that my bag is. Now, you know, I guess I'm being a little bit picky, but I kind of want to coordinate my stuff. I want it to be color coordinated. I want it to look good. You know, this is something that I'm going to invest in. And so my question now is this urban gray the same as the shadow gray, or is it different? And there's no way to tell. So right off the get-go, I'm kind of like, you know, what do I do? And so unfortunately, I'm at a standstill and I'm not ordering any accessories yet. And so that to me is a little bit frustrating. Now, I've looked through almost all of their equipment. From what I can tell, and I might be wrong, but I believe I'm correct, it looks like only the bags are shadow gray and all their other pouches and accessories are urban gray. And so I don't know if that's really the same color or if it's just, you know, a slight difference. I just really wish I knew. And so I don't know, maybe Direct Action will get a hold of people, or at least make a note on their website or clarification, or I don't know what it is, but I'm hoping somehow we can get the answer to whether or not this is the same color. And in a very similar fashion, taking a look at this vertical med pouch, when you get into the details, you'll notice that this too quotes urban gray. So anyway, you see my question, and at this point, I'm wondering if I can get some answers. So alright guys, there you have it. A side-by-side comparison of the Direct Action Dragon Egg Original and Mark II. You know, some subtle differences, nothing earth-shattering, but at the same time, I think these are two very great quality bags. Very, very well built, nice design, comfortable, flexible in what you can carry and what you would use it for. This is on my highly recommended list. One of my favorite pieces of gear. And now that the Mark II came out, granted there's still some little tiny nuances, but at the same time, I think they made a nice improvement. I mean, that pocket design alone is well worth the effort. So alright guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.